The Republicans are coming out fighting in the airwaves through tough ads and working on their ground war as well, courting conservatives to get out the vote. Are the Democrats up to the challenge? Will they fight back and match the Republicans' fourth quarter offense? Or could Democrats win simply because they're not Republicans? The only sure thing about this election is over the next 2 weeks is to force the fierce battle over power that will only intensify. Here's Hardball's David Schuster with more on what the president said today.
In the midst of the worst Iraqi violence and the greatest number of U.S. troop casualties in 12 months, today a sober President Bush admitted what most Americans have been saying for a year, that the Iraq war is not going well.
I know many Americans are not satisfied with the situation in Iraq. I'm not satisfied either. And that is why we're taking new steps to help secure Baghdad and constantly adjusting our tactics across the country to meet the changing threat.
But the only change from President Bush today seemed to be his words, not his policy. The president did not offer a new strategy for stopping the loss of American lives or preventing an all-out Iraqi civil war. But Mr. Bush denied the U.S. has quietly accepted a new mission for America's fighting forces.
Americans have no intention of taking sides in a sectarian struggle or standing in the crossfire between rival factions.
The president said America's patience is not unlimited. And to that end, he said his administration is now working with Iraq's fragile government to set benchmarks for progress.
What we're asking them to do is say, when do you think you're going to get this done? When can you get this done? So the people themselves in Iraq can see that the government is moving forward with a reconciliation plan and plans necessary to unify this government.
A year ago, President Bush repeatedly declared that any sort of Iraq timetable would be a mistake.
There are not going to be any timetables. I mean, I've told this to the Prime Minister. Don't bet on it. Don't bet on American politics forcing my hand, because it's not going to happen.
Now, just 13 days before the congressional elections, the president is caught between his own party getting bludgeoned over the Iraq war and suggestions he is making changes only because of domestic politics. So the president explained the new pressure on the Iraqi government this way.
The benchmarks will make it more likely we win. Withdrawing on an artificial timetable means we lose.
If Republicans were hoping the president would give them a little more breathing room on Iraq, they were disappointed. The president heartily embraced Iraqi Prime Minister Maliki, even though Maliki today rejected the imposition of benchmarks. President Bush left open the possibility of permanent U.S. bases in Iraq, meaning the U.S. may never leave, and he once again stood by his embattled Secretary of Defense, Donald Rumsfeld.
And I'm satisfied of how he's done all his jobs. He is a smart, tough, capable administrator.
Despite all of the controversies over Iraq, the president said he believes his party will keep control of Congress.
There's a lot of time left. And these candidates are working hard out there. And my message to them is, keep talking about the security of the United States and keeping taxes low. And you'll come back here.
But polling in most states indicates that the Iraq war is the #1 issue for voters. And there was a dramatic new poll today in a Virginia race that could determine control of the U.S. Senate. Until recently, much of the focus on Republican George Allen has been over his macaca moment and alleged use of the N-word, not Allen's support for the Iraq war. But Democrat Jim Webb has a son serving in Iraq, and the Webb campaign has been ratcheting up their commercials pledging for a change in course. And now, for the first time in this race, the latest polling shows Webb beating Allen. Allen supporters note that another poll just days ago showed Allen ahead. In any case, in races across the country, Iraq is now front and center. The question is, will voters agree with President Bush, who today said the U.S. is winning in Iraq, or will voters reach another conclusion and make Republicans pay? I'm David Schuster for Hardball in Washington.